Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And been getting this question a lot lately. And how does age impact HRV? Because we've talked so much about how to raise your HRV, what HRV means, but what is one of the biggest factors in it is our age. And so if you're new here, what we really do is we dive into data and how it impacts our health and wellness and ultimately longevity. And so everything that we're going to dive into is rooted in science, data driven. So thank you for your interest in science. Thank you for wanting quality information that you can now apply into your life in a really purposeful way. So taking a look here, guys, we talk often about heart rate variability. We know it's the indication of how our body's handling stress and strain that's being applied mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, from our holistic viewpoint of our life and how our lifestyle is ultimately impacting that. Now, one of the big things that we haven't looked at, or that I've been getting a lot of questions recently, is how does age impact HRV? And now age is one of the strongest factors that influences heart rate variability values. So lower heart rates, okay, so lower resting heart rates are generally indicating that we are in increased biological age. How low our heart rate gets at night generally indicates an increase in fitness level, an increase in body efficiency, and thus a decrease in biological age. Thus, a higher heart rate variability is correlated with increased fitness, health, and youthfulness. So it is well established that HRV is a measure of biological age. Biological age correlates heavily with homeostatic capacity, which is the body's ability to self-regulate in response to stressors. We've talked about this. And studies have shown that biological age is a better measure for determining health status and risk of chronological age. Yes, chronological age correlates very strongly with biological age. However, there are many things that can help us minimize what our biological age is. We've talked about it in this video right here. If you click on this one, I talk about how can we identify what biological age is, looking at our telomere length, looking at the different lifestyle factors that actually impact it at a high level. And so I want to go in here and I want to show you the normative data that we've actually found that exists within a typical biological age area. So if we look at this, and we're going to look at age ranges first from 10 to 19, we're going to look from 20 to 29, we're going to go 30 to 39, 40 to 49, and then 50 to 59, 60 to 69. So in 10-year increments, 70 to 79, and 80 to 99. And this was pulled from over 50,000 people in a normative structure. And what we ended up finding was that the average HRV was 53, was 43, was 35, was 31, was 25, was 22, was 24, and was 21. Now, the big thing I want to make note about this is the average individual. Okay, this isn't a fit individual. This isn't an athlete. This isn't somebody that focused heavily on their health. It's an average North American, let's call this. And we all know that I don't want to be average. You don't want to be average. And so when we actually go over and we take a look at what WHOOP has been able to determine and what they've been able to see is it's still similar. Okay, it's still a similar trend. We still see that as age increases, that HRV generally decreases. Now, I've had a lot of deep conversations with people about this. And yes, there is some factors about aging that actually, again, cause an impact on us. But I don't want it to become the excuse as to, oh, my HRV is low because I'm older. If you're comparing a 65-year-old fit person to a 65-year-old average person that has 22, I've seen a lot of 65-year-olds and a lot of our clients that are in that 65 range that are averaging 35 to 45. Okay, so theoretically they're like, well, holy moly, I'm like the average 20 to 29-year-old. And so a lot of it comes back to your lifestyle factors. Okay, a lot of it comes back to how are you living? What are you exposing yourself to? And when we talk about those 8 controllables, it really starts to minimize what is actually being shown in HRV as a measure of age or being impacted by age. Because let's think about this for a second. Yes, your numbers will start to drop as you get older. It's just the way it goes. As I go from being a 35-year-old male, and as I get to be a 55-year-old male, my numbers will slightly drop. Normative to me. Okay, but that's over an extended period of time. However, as I continue to focus on these 8 controllables in my life and how I'm allowing myself to handle stress and capacity, I will not notice that drop off as much. Now, contrary, if I was a out of shape, sympathetically overloaded individual that was 35 years old, and then all of a sudden at 45 decided to get really fit, eat better, take a look at what food I was putting in my body, be much more aware as to how I was impacting the stress and strain around me, I would notice an increase. So it's not age that's like, and I'm always so careful with this when I come out and say this, it's not just age of, oh, I'm older, that's why my HRV is 22. No. What we do need to understand is if your numbers are under the average for your age group, there is definitely something underlying that we want to look into. Something that is adding stressor internally, whether that's that we are deficient in something, that we are sympathetically overload, that we have a chronic health issue. These are things that we want to really look at. But if we're looking at optimizing ourselves and really leveling up and being greater and having a larger capacity, these should not be something that we're striving for. We should be wanting to overreach on those. We should want to outbid those. We should, as a 35-year-old male, if I was to come in and say, yeah, 35 is good for me, that would make no sense. I've got 115. HRV is typically an average, and it's only because of my focus on HRV. Now, does it fluctuate a lot based upon the factors that we just spoke about in the 8 controllables? 100%. But taking a look at how we implement them and this focus that we put on different factors and controlling the controllables, we eliminate age as that factor. So coming back to this, guys, taking a look, I'm going to put this up on screen one more time. This was done in an extrapolated study that really took a look at about 50,000 different people, taking about 260 different studies and putting them together. This was the normative data that they found. It's the average American, okay, North American, let's not forget that. And these were the numbers that we found based upon the age groups and categories. If we are below this, really got to understand what's going on, and it should be a wake-up call for us. Second is understanding that age does impact how we are ultimately, what numbers we will see on HRV. But again, they are individual to you. So seeing a normative drop as we go from 55 to 65, probably normal, but making sure that we are above average is again key. And understanding what our steps and processes look like to get there. You can go take a look at some of the other videos that I've made and how we build capacity, how we make sure that we're doing the right thing. So with that, guys, again, be sure to like this, be sure to share this. If you have any questions on heart rate variability, any questions of how age actually impacts heart rate variability and the other factors that might actually impact you there, be sure to put them down in the questions. And I can't wait to see you guys again soon, so that we can, again, use science to optimize performance and continue the longevity journey that we are all on, so that we can truly own our different. See you next week.